The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co. We're back. Here we are. We've had some technical issues, but hey ho, we're still here. So thank you for being here. And basically, I've got my new guest already lined up, and I have another guest already lined up. I've got Christine joining us very shortly, but at the moment, I have Ileana. So Ileana Simancas. Ileana, bienvenida. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Gracias por esperarnos. I am so sorry. My technical difficulties were mine, not his.
But anyway, we're here. And basically, Ileana, I've been talking about you before. She's a CEO and founder of Lilith's Travel, a digital platform and a purpose-built travel organizer that creates and organizes safe experiences in special destinations. Well, challenging times for everyone, challenging time for traveling as well, isn't it?
It's a very hard time for traveling right now. So you can imagine how interesting this time is for me. You see me smiling. I had gone through my crying moments. Thank God it's not right now. Because it's certainly a time that we were never expecting, you know. I had expected many things. I thought the internet was going to collapse at some point, and that was going to be the reason why I would have to change my way of living. But we never thought that it would be something like we are living through right now. And I think the most important part for me has to be to do a radical acceptance, a radical acceptance of what the situation is right now. That took the longest time because before that I was fighting against what was happening as opposed to just flowing with whatever was happening. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are going through that right now, and it's okay. We need some time. I hope it's faster than later, then people start realizing the truth of where we are and have that radical acceptance. Because once you have that radical acceptance, then you can start moving forward. Before that, you're just stuck, frozen, terrified, and being like, oh my God, my world is destroying in front of me, and I don't even know how to grasp to anything that I know. So I always compare it to my students to being an alcoholic. The first thing is that you have to admit that you have a problem. Once you admit you have a problem, then you either have the strength and the courage to fight the problem and to find a cure for the problem, to transform, to expand through that transformation, or you can just stay home and cry about it, or you can stay home and keep drinking. So it's really, I think that right now, and like in any crisis that we can go through, this is the most important step to take. And it's vital now, because now it's not only like, oh, my business will go to hell or not. It's the world will go to hell or not. I mean, the longer we take to accept what it is. And I'm saying this because it's very interesting how I'm seeing people that can't accept it. I mean, like yesterday, I have a chat for all the women that have trouble with me. And 3 people, we started to talk about this in a very soft way. And 3 people left the chat. One of them really angry about us talking about the problem that we're facing right now. And because I was saying, like, you know, Mexico is not taking steps yet. So girls, take steps, because this thing is real. And somebody was like really aggravated by the fact that we were talking about it. And I'm like, wow, it is interesting. Yes, there is a lot of people that don't want to face reality yet, because they are so afraid of what this means in their life right now, but also in their life that is coming, what is to come, the instability or the not knowing what's coming. Is what always catches us in crisis. When you get divorced, when you get laid out of your job, when you get an illness, anything that is a crisis is the same thing, and yeah, I think that's the first step. And the second step is admit that you are afraid, that you have fear. It's fine. It's part of being a human being. We all going to be afraid of this moment. Now, what are you going to do with this fear? Is this fear going to become your friend, or is this fear going to become your enemy? Because if it's your enemy, it's going to get you frozen. You're going to get stuck. You're going to not know where to go, and you're going to start having a panic. And this panic is what creates a bigger monster. But if all of us can just say, okay, I'm afraid, and this fear is going to push me to an expansion. A friend of mine says that before a big expansion, there is a big squeeze. And I love this phrase because it's so true. Every time we're going through a hard time, we're going through a big squeeze. And I don't know about you, but every single time that I have gone through that squeeze of falling apart, of having nothing left, is when my expansion has been the biggest. Actually, Lily Strabo was born out of that. It was born out of me losing everything. And when I say everything, the only thing I had left was my health. But I have no home, no money, no direction. Seriously, I just grabbed my car and started driving because I just got separated, got bankrupt. I had a debt of $45,000 and $3,000 in my bank account, or $4,000, I don't know. And I just grabbed a plane and went to Bali because that was all left for me to do. That was the only thing I wanted to do in life. And that is how this whole path of me started, which is taking women with me to transformational trips that I had been done for 15 years for myself. But now, because of that, it came to this.
Let me stop you there a minute. So basically, Ileana, part of you shared a few things there, and obviously, the idea around obviously recognizing and acknowledging, what is going on and what's happening, and accepting it, and dealing with it. I think that is obviously something that's worth kind of reinforcing. And then, additionally, you've been talking about the idea of what happens when you hit rock bottom. That there is an advantage of hitting rock bottom, that it's the bottom. But when you hit the bottom, then there's always another bottom, which is, I was talking and I shared a couple of ideas today that, okay, well, if you could still keep your business, but you're dead, then, you don't really want to keep your business because you're dead anyway. So you might as well, as long as you're alive, you've got hope. And as long as you've got something, which we all have, we all have something to hold on to, we can bounce back. For you, it was, your car and a trip to Bali, and that was a new beginning. So we've been sharing that idea throughout the 2 days, a lot of people, and obviously reinforcing it. But I do love that. And so for you in particular, and then what is it? Because I'm finding as well, it's not that I'm finding it strange, because I do get it that a lot of people are scared. Okay, I understand that people are scared, and if negative people and angry people were before the pandemic, well, I don't think the pandemic is going to change him overnight. Okay, so no. A lot of people are still going to be negative, and that's the problem. But I'm there's been such a switch and such a swift towards people helping and supporting each other and being a lot more understanding, that I'm struggling to see those people that are angry and ignoring and not really kind of relaxing, and trying to say, what, I really have to unwind. I really have to take, the message and what's happening and really change my life. So for you in particular, with the clients and customers you're working, and I get that some people might not want to hear, the realities, what are you advising them, and what are you?
Well, the first thing is this concept of being a positive person or a negative person. A positive person is not a person that denies what reality is out there. A positive person is a person that can realize what is out there, and still be positive about the outcome, even if what you're going through is really hard. So that's the first thing that I need to, I tell my people is like, stop saying that by you choosing to admit that we have a problem, you're a negative person. No, you're a person with two dedos de frente, you know, yeah. and then you're seeing life seriously, taking life seriously. Now we are going to be positive about the outcome. You know, for me, this opportunity, because I see it, I see it now as an opportunity, has come to show us that the planet and the earth, it's not happy. You know, it's not happy with the fires that show us that it was not happy. It's not happy with earthquakes. It's showing us that it's not happy in so many ways. And we don't want to do a change in perception of life. And this is like the last call for attention. And it's a cycle. I'm a historian. I went to school for history because I love history. And I see this as it has happened many times before. You know, like the Black Death, you know, happened before the Renaissance. So this is going to be our Black Death, and hopefully it's going to be our Renaissance. So it is very important to, once that you recognize and that you see your fear, that you start working in what is going to be that new you. You know, what is going to be that new you as a person? What is going to be that new you as a professional? Because many of us are going to have to switch things around, or maybe add things and expand on what we already had. In the time that we have right now to be with ourselves or with our loved ones, to start having space to get strong. You know, it's very easy just to hide in fear. It's so much harder to say, I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to meditate or pray or whatever it is that is for you for 5 minutes. And I'm going to go and take a walk, and I'm going to go and do my run, and I'm going to do some exercises, and I'm going to start create something new. It's so much easier to just stay home like this and angry. You know, it's a time when the world is healing. We see what's happening with Venice and the canals. We see what's happening with the smog in China. It's the same thing for us. For example, I'm going to start tomorrow a 15-day meditation live in Instagram for my followers. And it's the meditation for thanking and forgiving. Why? Because we are so full of smog inside. We have so much anger. We have so much sadness. We have so much guilt about so many things in our lives. And right now we have had the amazing opportunity to have time to heal, just like the earth is healing. So why I chose to go through this, you know, meditation and not through a calm meditation or a peaceful meditation or a Vipassana meditation, because I think that we need to take this time to heal. We need to take this time to eat well and sleep and love the people that we have next to us and open up our heart chakra. I don't want to get too like the spiritual here, because I think most people that are listening to us here are more into very intellectual stuff. But I am more of this, you know, I see more of this from the spiritual perspective. We want to change our mind with our mind. And sometimes to me, that doesn't really work because I'm a very mental person. So when I start trying to fix my mind and my fears with my mind, then I get more fearful because I get stuck in the story, you know? So that's why I try to always work with my body, get connected to my gut, to my sixth sense, to my whatever. And this meditation is beautiful because all it's going to do is share the love, the forgiveness, the thankfulness that we need to spread out to all our circle. We don't need to fix the whole world. We can just fix our little circle, you know, and that just like the virus, one person can infect 5 and 5 can infect 10 and 10 can, you know, it's the same thing with this. Why we don't take this light and this love and infect people with it, right? So that's what I'm telling most people because I'm just saying it as an intellectual, from an intellectual point of view. I'm going through it myself. You know, all of a sudden I have no work from January, maybe until September. Who in life has 9 months of savings? You know, I know that I am barely there to say, oh my God, what am I going to do now? This is interesting. And I can't even go back to my old jobs because, you know, there is none. I can't even go into my really old job of I'm going out waitressing tables again because you can't even work in a restaurant. So it's a really interesting time for expansion and to really find a new way to connect.
If you're interested in finding your true purpose, if you're interested in finding your legacy, if you're interested in growing, if you are sick and tired of reading books that don't help you, haven't helped you, or are not helping you, or attending courses and seminars that haven't really had an impact in your life, I invite you to read my book, The Question, Find Your True Purpose, out now. For more information, go to www.thequestion.co. If you're interested in working with me, contributing, speaking at any of our many events, partnering, or licensing The Best You, for more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
It is. It's a very exciting. It really is. I know it's scary, but it's very exciting. Ileana, I've got a few more minutes, and I've got Christine who I need to bring in. So what I wanted you to the question I've been asking is around, you were going to be speaking at the Best You Expo, and now it's postponed till August. So you will be busy on the 7th and 8th of August. So I don't know about September, but you're busy in the 7th and 8th. So now with your message, with this new reality that we all have, has your message changed, or will it change with what you will be sharing at the Expo?
You know, it has just confirmed my path.
Okay.
This I was talking to my partner this morning, and I said, I'm so impressed that actually what I've been doing for all these years is actually working, because 5 years ago, I would have been depressed, literally in pills, because I've been in that kind of depression. I have tried to commit suicide twice in my life. So I'm not in this path just because it's fun to go to India. No, it's because I have gone through hell, you know? So, and now being to the verge of not having a way of even pay my bills, you know, in the few months, and being with a smile and being capable of talking to you about maintaining your peace and your calm in the middle of craziness, in the middle of this wave, you know, that you are in this wave and you're drowning, and you're okay, the only thing is going to save me if I hold into my breath and I wait for the wave to get me up. So it's to me, it's just it just has confirmed that everything that I had learned during these years, everything I have studied, and everything that I try every day to transfer to those that travel with me, or that do retreats with me, or they do any private therapies with me, it does work. It takes a lot of work, but it does work.
It does work. And we were sharing that yesterday about obviously making sure that it's the first thing and the most important thing that we do, that we spend time. So, venga, yo te agradezco mucho. I'm going to say a couple of words in Spanish. Pues Ileana's been sharing some beautiful messages on Instagram the last couple of days. Te agradezco mucho tu cariño, tu apoyo, y me alegro muchísimo de tenerte en la Expo y de conocerte y de darte un abrazo en cuanto podamos.
Igualmente, pronto será.
Pronto será. Thank you very much. Un besito, cuídate.
No más té, gente, no más té. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Hey, Christine, will you join us now? Gracias, Ileana.
Bye.
Hey, Christine, you there? Christine's been waiting patiently there.
Here I am.
How are you, my love? All right?
Oh, I'm great.
Well, Christine is here. She's I've announced you before, but anyway, she's a best-selling author, on-air radio personality, icon of influence, podcast host and coach. Christine has a solid reputation in the industry. I met Christine a couple of months ago. She was so gracious to interview me, and and the expo. We featured the expo. Well, she did a fantastic job. She was extremely excited, as was I, for the expo that was happening yesterday and today. And so she's been a big fan, a big supporter. And since I got to say, since I met her, she's such great energy, such a great buzz, and you've got such a big following. So I'm delighted to have you here, and me holding the microphone. But thank you so much for your help and support to get us to where we were. But we're coming back. We're coming back with a vengeance. And you're in Australia now, aren't you?
Oh, yes. There's an interesting story behind that. And I've been listening to people talking about reinventing ourselves and taking what's kind of thrown at us and doing the best that we can. And I had an interesting experience. I wasn't supposed to be in Australia until April 3rd, or flying out April 3rd to be with my wife and our children here. My wife lives in Australia, and I'm in the process of moving here eventually, but under my own terms is what I thought. And she told me just a few days ago, she's like, babe, I think you should think about getting a flight earlier, because this was when they were starting to really kind of crack down on things. And she was worried that they were going to close the borders. And I was like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Okay, come on, flights have to fly, planes have to go. And it was literally, I think it was Tuesday morning, I went to check on my flight with Virgin Australia. It had been canceled, but nobody told me. And I got on the phone immediately. I was on hold for over an hour with Delta. Finally, a lovely lady got on the phone with me, and for an hour, she was trying to find me a flight because everything was being canceled. So I couldn't fly out on the weekend. I couldn't fly out on Thursday. She basically said, look, there's nothing. There's one flight left to Australia, and it's tonight in a few hours. And I was like, okay, think quick, Christine. Everything within me said, go, go, go. Because if I did not catch that flight, it could be 6 months to a year before I'm with my wife and our kids. And at a time like this, it would just, I couldn't bear not being with her. And so I literally started just throwing stuff in my suitcase. I grabbed my laptop. I grabbed my microphone, because I do a lot of audio work. As you know, I do podcasting, but I also work at a radio station. I just got my, I have a shield, and it's basically like a soundproof shield. I threw it in the suitcase, and I grabbed some shorts and a couple shirts, and I grabbed all of my health products that I could, and sanitizer and everything like that. And it basically, I had 2 hours to pack up everything that I could think of. I ran to the bank, got some cash, and jumped on the plane. And now the borders are closed. They don't know if they're going to reopen them in 6 months or whatever. We don't know. So literally, I jumped off that cliff and said, this is where my heart is. My heart is in Australia, and I feel fully capable of being able to do what I do anywhere in the world. And that's what I teach. What's so funny is that's what I teach my clients. Yeah. We work on taking our passions and our skill sets and getting them out into the world. And it's through podcasting, it's through videos, it's through our books. And I'm living I'm what I preach, I'm teaching, and I'm living it.
You're walking your talk, and look, yeah. you were lucky enough in making that decision, getting on the last flight, and I know that's happened for a lot of people. But then on the other hand, there's a lot of people that are now disconnected. Kind of the fact is I'm over here, and kind of I've got my family scattered, and whatever happened, I thought, I'm 12, 13 hours away. Now I'm not, and it's very concerning, and people are, in different parts, and sometimes, unfortunately, even, your loved ones, older people that, need to be kind of isolated themselves. So it's a completely new reality. It's obviously been challenging. I mean, what we're trying to do here is obviously, share positivity and share ideas around, taking action and looking at the positive outcomes of everything that's going on. So with the people that you're working on now and kind of, going through their stories. What is the advice that you're giving them in order to kind of like, move forward, stay positive, keep the eye on the prize?
To find out about my latest projects, get a free coaching lesson, or download my book, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
Well, a lot of it right now is about reinventing ourselves and getting out of the box of what we think we are. Yeah. We may think that we are a travel agent, or we may think that we are a wonderful chef at a restaurant. And what's happened is that our world that we thought was solid shifted right from underneath our feet in many respects. But as you know, nothing is solid, and we are fluid beings. So we have the potential to tap into our passions and our skills and offer them to the world in a way unlike ever before. But the people that I'm working with have such wisdom and such huge hearts that they want to help other people. That is my client base. And so I'm helping them reach those people through podcasting and through the videos and the books and things like that, because the world right now needs that. It needs more of us reaching out to each other and sharing our gifts and uplifting others. And it just so happens, I just signed on 2 clients. It's a mother and son team. And they're a family that has gone through, her son has autism. He's 18 now, and they want to share with other families what it's like from a mother's perspective. Everything about what works, with his diet, what doesn't work, how to deal with the social anxiety, how to get resources that are available that she had to, she's single and she's taking care of him on her own, so she has to balance that. But she wants to share her perspective with the world about having a son with autism. And Cooper is this beautiful 18-year-old. He's so excited about being able to reach out to other teenagers who have autism and to say, you can succeed. And here's my challenges that I still have, and this is how I relate to my mom sometimes, being a teenage boy. But he's so excited about helping other people. And I think when you come from that place, and it's not just about making money, right? When you come from that place of, I want to help other people and I have these gifts, whatever it is, when you share those gifts, magic happens. And it's just like how I had the ability to get on that last flight. It was like, through the eye of a needle. Through the eye of a needle. And this is where I'm supposed to be. And I can't tell you how lovely it is to wake up next to my wife, you know?
Yeah. And that sense of obviously having your loved one there, next to you is always obviously important. So we a lot of the things that we've been sharing are around, kind of what's going to come out of this. And for me, I really believe that so many minds are coming together and there's so much creativity now in motion, because people are they're having to think, and with this new reality of people starting to think, things are going to materialize. A lot of the time, what I've always shared is that not only people don't think, they're not aware of their thoughts. And then if sometimes the quality of those thoughts are terrible. So obviously being self-aware of those thoughts and obviously being able to kind of spend time thinking about, the life realities, because we're so driven in the 9 to 5 on the job. Mass actually said something which I made a note of, which is, this is the closest thing to stopping time. What is happening now is the closest thing to stopping time. And I love that. So what's your look, what do you see happening from where we are now and where could this all go?
Well, I think it's a time of deep reflection for many of us, but it's hard when there's fear. What I try to do personally and also my family here is that we we recognize we're not, we don't live in a bubble. We realize what's going on around us, but we don't come from a place of fear. It's extremely important not to let that, because here's the other thing. I'm dear friends with Dr. Habib Sadeghi, who's, oh my goodness, he's a brilliant physician. He's a Western physician, but he practices Eastern philosophy. And he's there in Los Angeles. And, his wisdom, his offering of wisdom to not only his patients, but to anyone who'll listen, is that our immune system will take a giant hit when we ruminate, when we marinate in fear, and when we have panic and anxiety. Our immune system can be affected by that. So the important thing is to focus on those things that are important in our lives. And that's the people, obviously, that's the people around us, but also how we can impact others. And that's my whole goal in life. Right now, we're going through a sort of like, how a snake sheds its skin. The old life that we had is leaving us. But there's the opportunity to be born again and to create something completely new. And I don't know about you, Bernardo, but I believe very much that I've had many lifetimes. So I think I've been through some really probably tougher times than this. And also, I do believe that we're eternal. We're eternal beings. And so I've had experiences in my past where I've had a near-death experience. And if anybody's ever had a near-death experience, many, not all, but many, have this feeling of absolute peace because you're connected to everything. Actually, in that moment, you feel yourself connected to the birds, the bushes, the rocks, the ocean, every single living creature. And in that moment, it is the most beautiful feeling. It's indescribable. And so when I had that experience in my early 20s, I learned that I'm not afraid of death. We are, as people, frightened to death of death. So we do everything we can, right? But I'm not afraid of that transition because it was so beautiful. Now, I'm not Evel Knievel. I'm not reckless. I'm not going to, just ride a bike over a cliff. But at the same time, I have great peace in knowing that there's nothing to fear. There's really nothing to fear. And that's what I try and convey to my family and friends as much as I can.
Yeah, it's I get it. It's a difficult one, but it is the best way to look at it. So I've asked this question before. So with a lot of the things that you share, and I know you were going to be speaking at the expo when we're back in August. Has your message has it shifted in any way? Has it changed in any way, or pretty much what you were going to share is current still?
Oh, it's actually focused a lot more. Podcasting obviously is absolutely huge right now. There's over like 750,000 podcast shows. And it's not just about people, of course, creating their own podcast show and sharing their gifts with the world and promoting their business and all of that. It's also about, if you're an entrepreneur, being a guest on a podcast show because you can get your message out to so many people. What's changed is that we all have a message, a passion that we want to share with the world. And my joy is taking people through that journey and getting them to that place where they can share that message. And there is no greater feeling in the world. I can't tell you how excited I'm going to be when that wonderful mother and son get to create their show on autism and help other people who feel very isolated right now. So that is the thing that's probably shifted with me, is really helping people get their message out and their passion and help them on that journey. And I wanted to because I know you were on a tight time table, I wanted to let people know that as just a free gift to the Best You family, to our family out there, there's a brand new podcast. It's an ebook that I just created, and it has all of the resources, everything you need to know to start your own podcast. Everything from the equipment that you want to have, free resources and all of that. That is available. I'm going to offer everyone a free copy of that, the ebook. And all they have to do is go to this is a bit.ly link. It's bit.ly, so it's bit.ly / all lowercase, okay? Your own podcast. And if you go to that URL, you can just go to the checkout and use the promo code podcast 2222, podcast 2222, all upper capitals, all uppercase letters, and you will receive the ebook for free. And to get you started on that journey, it's just all the things that you need to know to get started. And I want to gift that to our family today.
I appreciate that. And that's kind of what we've been doing throughout the 2 days. And that's where we've gone with this message of ours of, the idea of the food bank for the soul, where we're literally all contributing with ideas, tips, books, and content that can help us or help those that are either transitioning or those that need help. So please, I'll ask you anyway, Christine, at the end when you can, just put that link there anyway. And people I'll send you
that link. And also another great piece of news. Okay, so not only did I catch the very last flight to Australia, and when they were looking at my paperwork, luckily I'm a resident because I applied for the visa and it got approved. So I'm good here. I don't know when I will touch American soil again. I don't know if I will ever touch American soil again. I don't know what's going to happen with the house that I'm at in California. I don't know anything, and yet I have this huge smile on my face because when we approach life with our heart and with love, and that's our fuel, and that's our motivation, is the love we have for our family, love we have for our kids, love we have for humanity. Miracles do happen. So yes, I caught that last flight. Very, just the very last one. And then I was here today, and I'm an author on a few books, but I just created my own book, and it's called Your Amazing Itty Bitty Podcast Book. This is an actual physical book that people can get. I just got word today, Bernardo, that it's on Amazon. The paperback.
Amazing.
So this is just a proof. That's why it looks this way. But something that I've been working on and has been a dream of mine. I've always wanted to write my own book. It came true today. And again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. But that was just like a little beautiful little reminder that when you stay heart-focused, heart-centered, beautiful miracles, things happen that you could not imagine. You could never imagine.
Well, darling, it's lovely to see you again. Lovely to see you with that big smile.
Thank you, love. Thank you.
So glad you made it there. And listen, keep smiling, keep going, and looking forward to speaking to you again, darling. Take care. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, love. Bye.
And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be back in 10 minutes. That's at 3:30 p.m. I'm going to be back, and I'm going to be interviewing Kimberly Meredith. She's going to be great. You're going to love her. A lot of you will probably know her already. And then I've got at 3:45, 3:50, I've got Vicky Shattini, the powerhouse. Vicky has a phenomenal story. You're going to love her. So hope you join me soon. I'll be back here in literally 9 minutes. Thank you so much. Take care, Christine. All the best. Bye.
Thank you, love.
Bye.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.